Hundreds of players have asked me to coach them in Roblox Rivals. They trust me, not because I give good advice, but because I tell the truth. I show exactly what you need to do to improve, even if it's just one person at a time. Training every single person one-on-one would be impossible. So today, I'm going to train one player. And through his journey, I'll share 5 principles that I've refined over 4 years of aim training, FPS experience, and reading hundreds of books on rapid skill acquisition. This is Levi, an Indian player who's been hard stuck silver. Like many beginners, he struggles with inconsistent aim, poor movement and rotations, and low game sense. He even faces bad ping and toxic teammates for his lack of skills. But more than anything, he just wants a second chance to prove himself. He's tired of losing. He's tired of frustration. That's why he reached out to me, and I promised to coach him for the next few days. But before we begin, let's take a look at Levi's gameplay. As you can see, his aim is off, his movement is clunky, and his overall game sense is underdeveloped. All of that is about to change, and it starts with principle number 1. Levi's struggles were obvious in every match. His movement was clunky, he'd fall off ledges, always take the same predictable paths on an open map, and get fried instantly. He used fists as his melee, giving him double jump potential, but he wasn't using it properly. His aim with the assault rifle was inconsistent. He reloaded mid-fight, threw grenades too late or mistimed, and even his double jumps were sloppy. It was clear Levi was trying to fight without truly understanding the foundations. That's where principle number 1 comes in. Master the basics. I took Levi into the practice arena in the lobby. Here, the focus wasn't on winning, it was on learning, experimenting, and building habits. He started with the default loadout and explored each weapon. He discovered that aiming with his AR gave him significantly more accuracy, a habit he hadn't found before. Then he experimented with the handgun, realizing it was far more efficient to switch after the AR ran out of bullets, instead of reloading mid-fight. We moved to melee afterwards. Switching to fist with the number key was slow and clunky, so I showed him the quick melee feature, instantly improving his fluidity. Then we focused on fist movement mechanics. Sliding with the fist can leave you in the air too long, reducing speed and leaving you exposed. But by crouching mid-air, Levi could cancel the long jump, maintaining momentum, and stay harder to hit, a subtle trick most guides miss. He practiced this 100 times in the training arena, making it second nature. Finally, we tackled grenades. Levi realized there's a timer mechanic he could exploit. Holding the grenade while slide cancelling allowed him to launch across the map, giving him mobility advantages most players never use, and even timing his grenade to hit players on occasional chances. When Levi returned to ranked matches, the difference was night and day. His aim was precise, movements fluid, and grenade tricks added new tactical options. He was no longer an easy target, and mistakes he had made repeatedly were gone. Now you can see why spending time in the training arena to explore and master the basics is more valuable than grinding matches blindly. Players who skip this step will never reach their potential, no matter their rank. Yet, even with all this improvement, Levi hit a wall. He didn't know what to focus on next. His progress started stagnating. And that leads us to principle number 2. After mastering the basics, Levi's improvements was clear. His aim, movement, and grenade play were better than ever. Yet there was a growing frustration in his eyes. Kaiser, why are we still training in the arena? I just want to play matches. He snapped at me. His voice was tinged with annoyance, but the hint of desperation. He wanted results fast. I told him, Levi, I know you're itching to play, but right now winning matches won't teach you as much as observing the right players. You need to see what works at the top, then take it and make it yours. I just don't get it, why I have to watch videos instead of practicing live. it feels useless. Every pro player move you see isn't just for show. Every jump, every slide, every hesitation, it's a data, and learning to read it is what separates good player from masters. Reluctantly, Levi opened playlist top players, including my own gameplay. Yes, I'm totally the best player. We watched it together. Yes, I even watched my own videos. I paused a clip mid-match. See, this ledge? Notice what I'm doing. Levi leaned closer. You just slid off? Exactly. While your enemy jumps and hesitates, you maintain momentum. You're harder to hit and you control the engagement. I explained that to him. This isn't instinctive for beginners, but if you make it a habit, you'll have an edge in every fight. At first, Levi mimicked mechanically. Slides were late, sometimes overcommitted, sometimes half-hearted. He muttered under breath, "Why is this so awkward? I'll never get it in matches." Patience. Don't rush. Observe first, then apply. Learn from one pro every day. Even if it's just one tiny skill, steal it, make it yours, and repeat it. Microscopically or massively, it adds up faster than grinding aim endlessly. Over the next few sessions, something changed. Levi started noticing subtle patterns in other players' movements, their timing, their habits. He began sliding off ledges instinctively, no longer copying blindly. It became a reflex born from observation. That's principle 2, analyzing pro players. By the end of the day, Levi had formed a new routine: analyze one pro player a day and adopt a new skill. However small, a jump here, a reload trick there, every day he added to his toolkit, compounding his growth. But even with his newfound edge, Levi faced another wall. He was reading his opponents, copying pro skills, but he still got caught out in matches, lost fights he shouldn't have, and sometimes mispositioned himself completely. The problem wasn't his mechanics anymore, it was his map awareness, knowing where to be at the right time. And that brings us to principle number 3. By the time we reached principle 3, Levi and I had started to bond. He was still frustrated at times, muttering under his breath how I was an asshole, but there was a sense that he trusted me. Even if he didn't fully show it yet. Kaiser, I don't get it. Why are we doing random maps and loadouts? This isn't fun. I just want to win. He was tired of it. I smiled patiently because you're not just practicing for wins, Levi. You're training for everything. Every weapon, every map, every scenario. It's all improving some part of your skill. Yeah, right. You just want me to suffer. How is using an RPG going to improve my assault rifle aim? Maybe a little, but trust me, in the long run, it works. Reluctantly, he voted for random maps and loadouts. The first few matches were brutal. He lost repeatedly, and his frustration grew. By the 4th match, where he had RPG spray, scythe and molotov, he slammed his mouse. I don't want to be trained by a loser like you anymore. I'm trying, but I keep losing. Why are you making me do this? Just tell me what works. Levi, the answers aren't useful if you don't discover them yourself. This is about building skill awareness, noticing how every choice, every map, every weapon affects your gameplay. That's principle 3, something that I cannot explain. But Levi didn't care and left the call. Late at night alone, he picked up the default loadout. He crushed his enemies effortlessly, and slowly but surely realization hit him. Each random loadout he had been forced to use was teaching him something. RPG taught him predictions, aiming where enemies would be, not where they were. Shotgun sharpened close range reactions. Sniper built patience and timing. Random maps forced him to adapt, improving map sense, positioning and rotations. He figured out how you can double jump onto the small ledge in the arena, or use bins and docks by slide cancelling onto them to leap up. All at once he understood I hadn't told him because the lesson was stronger. If he figured it out himself, his skills weren't just improving. Every tiny struggle was a deliberate training step. The next day, Levi logged in again and retried the random loadouts he had hated so much. This time he approached it with focus, applying the lessons he had discovered on his way. After a few matches, he turned to me, genuine apology in his voice. Kaiser, I get it now. I'm sorry for yelling yesterday. You were right. I didn't mind. And I said, good. That's how mastery works. Through struggle and understanding. And now you're reaching heights most players would take weeks or months to hit. Even with all of his growth, one thing was clear, his aim, while much better, was still lacking. And that's exactly where Principle 4 comes in. The key to precise, rapid aim. Even with Levi's skills improving through map awareness and random loadouts, one glaring weakness remained: his aim. In matches, he still missed shots he should have landed, his flicks were inconsistent, his tracking jittery, and he often overcompensated under pressure. Each missed shot frustrated him, leaving him tense and hesitant. To address this, I created something special. I went onto Google Excel and designed an aim benchmarking sheet tailored for Roblox Rivals. Every task in the sheet was inspired by Aim Labs, a free aim trainer, but specifically adapted for the categories most important in Rivals: strafing, needle-like tracking, flicking, sniper bursts, and reflexive close-range shots. I even prioritized tension control, a subtle yet critical factor for maintaining precision under pressure. Here's the logic. In actual matches, only about 20% of the encounters are duels. The rest of the time, players are moving, waiting, or rotating. But in aim training, you're actively shooting 90% of the time. So the skill growth is far faster and more consistent. Levi's routine was simple but rigorous. On the left side of the sheet were tasks to complete after each session. He recorded his best score and last score, allowing him to track consistency, recognize weaknesses, and measure progress objectively. I also built a ranking system. Each high score awarded a rank, and his ultimate goal was to reach apex in every category. It wasn't easy, but the structure gave him clear direction. At first, Levi struggled. Tracking his own inconsistencies was humbling. He realized how often his tracking wavered under movement, how his flicks were sloppy when tired, how easily tension affected his aim. But by the second day, the sheet made the problem visible and solvable. He practiced daily, following a ranking ladder, and slowly the progress became undeniable. On screen, you can see the difference. Levi's shots were smoother, more precise, and his reactions far faster. The benchmark didn't just improve his aim, it built confidence, discipline, and measurable path to mastery. For those of you struggling with aim, I've taken the same system and created 3 Excel sheets: beginner, intermediate, and advanced, each tailored with the best aim science and tasks to maximize improvements in Roblox Rivals. There's even a separate guide explaining how to practice properly and the science behind each exercise. The link is in the description. If you're serious about leveling up your aim, this is the only tool to accelerate your growth. You need this, so click the link in the description. Now that Levi's aim has significantly improved, there's one last and most crucial piece to complete his transformation: his mentality. That's what we'll cover in Principle 5. Levi had come far, from missing every shot and fumbling his movements, now moving fluidly and hitting targets with precision. But something invisible still held him back. He was improving, yet every time he lost a match or missed a duel, he'd slam his desk, sigh, and mutter, "What's the point? I practiced all day and still lost. Those ninjas were exploiting." Yeah bro, you totally lost because the opponent was exploiting. He stayed silent. It's not aim. It's not mechanics, it's the way they think. I explained something that would change everything for him: the growth mindset. I told him there were 2 types of players. One believes skill is talent, fixed, born, unchangeable. When they fail, they think they are not good enough. The others believe skill is clay, moldable, shapeable. When they fail, they learn. When they lose, they adapt. When they break, they rebuild stronger. I compared it to aiming itself. If you miss a shot and get angry, you've already lost twice. But if you miss a shot and analyze why, you gained experience. That's growth. Levi listened quietly and something clicked. The next morning, he loaded up Roblox Rivals again. Same map, same players who'd crushed him yesterday, but this time he didn't curse when he lost a duel. He replayed the moment in his head, asked, what could I have done differently? He began taking notes after each match, tiny details, his position, timing, reload habits. He treated every loss as a free lesson. His mindset shifted from "I can't do this" to "I can't wait to do this." Day after day he refined, adapted and kept going until one night his rank finally glowed on. Tier 3 Platinum. It's only been like 3 to 5 days. It was like a miracle. He sat there, hands trembling, smiling quietly. He didn't need to celebrate because he knew, I have won. That's where the growth mindset is. It doesn't change how you play, it changes who you are. Because when you stop running away from failures and start learning from it, you already beaten 90% of the players before the match even starts. Levi's story isn't about one player, it's about everyone who's tired of being stuck, of losing, of thinking they've reached their limit. If you want to rise, to really rise, then stop chasing shortcuts. Start mastering these principles. Start with the first principle I taught to Levi and follow your way up. Master them one by one, except for principle 4, which is your aim. You should begin it right now. And if you're serious about your aim and your mindset and your improvement, the Ascension benchmarking Excel I made is waiting for you in the description. It's built from science, refined by experience and proven by results. So if you want to be coached by me, even indirectly, that's where your journey begins. Subscribe and let's make you the next Levi. Because I'm not here to give you suggestions, I'm here to give you results.